What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ville Chillin podcast. Today, we're talking about simply charities. Whether you're in need or you want to give, this episode's for you. Hang out, and we're going to talk about some charities. All right, so I guess we'll just start it off by, again, saying that we're just talking about various charities around here, but not just charities, resources as well. So if you're someone in need, or even if you just want to volunteer and help, provide these resources to people, here in Louisville, they actually have some pretty good actual government websites that list a lot of different resources available in the city. So this is something that I didn't even know existed until I had to look it up for this. But as far as meals and food, this link pretty much lists several places that do breakfast / early lunch, and there's times and different dates, if it's daily, if it's not daily. There's lunch, dinner, groceries, and even after school meal programs. So I thought it was pretty cool that the city took the time to make this page available to people.
Definitely.
So there's
really covered all the bases, like as far as a lot of the resources that somebody would need, you can find them all just on this page right here.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot there. And then they have another page for emergency shelter options as well. And so some of that overlaps with the meals and groceries, but there's also some that are just shelters. So whether you just need overnight or family emergency shelters, young adult shelters, emergency day shelters, there's a lot of options out there. So if you're someone who needs that kind of resource, definitely check out this link. These links will, of course, be in the description.
Awesome. Yeah, that covers everyone, like a full family shelters for families, single mothers, men, everyone.
Yeah, it covers all the bases. Community gardening. So while it's getting cold, of course, and there's not really a lot of gardening going on now, I just thought it was kind of an interesting one to bring up, especially since I saw that Louisville had an actual government page for it, because being able to grow your own food is kind of huge, and there's certain foods that you can grow fairly easily that are so versatile. Like even just tomatoes, think about how much we at least eat, like spaghetti, chili, pasta. We got to buy canned tomatoes every time when it's cheaper to grow your own, and then it'd be cheaper to ultimately can them or jar them too.
Right. With the way that, prices are going up and stuff, it's really expensive to eat healthy. So the fact that there's these community gardens, that makes it easier, in certain areas where, that isn't available, it does help.
Yeah. And even if you're not like close to one of the actual community gardens, they have resources on just learning how to garden and stuff too. So I just thought that'd be an interesting one to kind of call out.
Definitely.
Moving on to actually talking about some individual organizations, we found this website, and it's giveforgoodlouisville.org, but the search function is actually really robust. And it made it really easy to kind of pop in here and just see all the different like nonprofits here in Louisville. And you can even filter by certain causes that they advocate for.
Yep, they make it real user friendly, real easy to navigate through. Like you said, go directly to the cause, whether it's animals or community advocacy, all the way down to veterans and whatever you're looking for. There's a cause here locally that you can help support through this website.
And then the first charity that we kind of decided to bring up is Hip Hop Cares. So
They're awesome.
yeah, I mean, I think, how did you find them? Because I think you told me about them.
Yeah, just randomly they showed up on my Facebook feed. I don't know if it was just like just naturally, just organically. I don't know if Facebook just recommended it, but the person who runs it, Jeff Gills, I believe his name is, awesome guy. He was just posting, I think, Jeff Gill, yeah. He was posting a live, I think a Facebook live, and was just talking some like really positive stuff. Like, and then I followed it a little bit more, just about all the stuff they do in the community. They do a whole lot, you know, getting people together and then just giving back through everything from like food, backpacks. I think one time they gave backpacks away back when kids were going back to school, and just clothes, different things like that.
Cool, man. Yeah, they seem to do a lot. I mean, it says here Hip Hop Cares has served up to 500 meals and supplies a week, rain or shine, since its start in 2016. So that's pretty awesome. They definitely seem to do a lot, and like they said, you see it. He posts pretty much every week when they're doing stuff, so you can see that they're actually getting together and doing it. And I mean, they got quite a big group that goes out and tries to help however they can. So you can definitely check out the website, hiphopcares.org. It would have anything you need to help donate time or resources or whatever you can to help them accomplish their mission. Pretty awesome. The next one that kind of spoke to us a little bit was Ronald McDonald House Charities. This one was it's really cool because the people who need this resource are definitely going through a tough time. You know, what they do is they basically provide housing and meals to families of sick children here in, like, especially people having to travel from out of state or out of city, and you know, they don't necessarily have housing or anything figured out while their child might be here for whatever operations or procedures. And so the Ronald McDonald House Charities like houses and feeds those people. So the founders, it pretty much started when the founders saw, you know, parents and families sleeping just in hallways and chairs and things like that while just waiting in the hospitals for things to happen, you know, because some of these procedures are hours and hours and hours long. Pretty cool. I think it's awesome, and they do quite a bit to help those people, make them, you know, one less thing to have to worry about.
Right. It definitely adds up. Those, you know, it's a hard thing to go through, right? So definitely, if there's someone that can lessen that burden, you know.
Yep. The next one I wanted to bring up is, I mean, it's one that we all know about, and they're, you know, we see them all the time, especially around this time. But Salvation Army, they actually do quite a bit of stuff. I guess that's why they have a whole section titled "What We Do" here on their website. But the holiday giving, of course, right now is big. But they have food pantries, disaster relief, just all kinds of different stuff, after school programs, various things that they do to try to give back to the communities.
And you made a good point, like with them being one of the bigger charities around, right? What is that, assisting over 23 million Americans annually?
133 countries around the globe.
You highlighted, though, like right there at the top right, there's their annual reports. So where, you know, usually, sometimes, you know, whenever you see a charity or, you know, nonprofit get that big, sometimes they're not that, not as
upfront and forthcoming about
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
They don't make it that easy to find.
Right. They make it very transparent. It's right there. You can see where your money's going. So it's awesome when you see them out, helping you.
Yeah. And then they have a history of pretty much going back to 2004. They have annual reports on here. So that's pretty cool. All right. I guess that's kind of all the ones that we wanted to touch on together, but we actually kind of looked separately and found some that kind of spoke to us a little bit individually too, right? So I'm going to kick it off with Dream Factory. So if you don't know what Dream Factory is, it says right there, granting dreams to chronically and critically ill children. So is kind of along the lines of the Ronald McDonald House. It's tough on the families, but it's tough on kids too. Having to deal with some of the things they deal with if they have an illness that impacts them in such a way. So having an organization like the Dream Factory, which they're nationwide too, I believe, but they have a local chapter here in Louisville. And I mean, giving these kids any kind of memory outside of like doctor's visits, hospitals, shots, pokes and prods, it makes a difference in these kids' lives. So I think that's really awesome. And they do a lot. I think I read in here somewhere and see there you go again, 2022 annual report. They make it really easy. It's one of the first things you see as soon as you start scrolling. It's like, here you go, see where your money's going, see what we're doing. It says here, because we do not employ people on a local level, 96.1% of all money raised by the Dream Factory is used to grant the dreams of critically and chronically ill children.
And right there, they're call to action. Either if you big buttons right there. Do you want to volunteer? Do you want to donate or refer a child? Who could use the Dream Factory. So really, really simple.
It definitely spoke to me. And then the next one that I had, really stuck out to me, of course, the Epilepsy Foundation of Kentuckiana. My dad was epileptic. So it's one thing to know that people go through these things, and I guess that's why I kind of picked the ones that I have, but it's different when you live with someone who deals with it on a day-to-day. You know what I mean? And just knowing how epilepsy impacted my dad. I mean, he couldn't get his license until he was like 46 when his seizures were finally under control. But even then, as life went on, they started getting pretty bad again. And he started having them when he was like 14. So it impacted his education and everything else, and just
every day of his life.
Every day. Yeah. And it's huge, and he had a pretty severe form, so he would be down for the rest of the day pretty much if he had a seizure, and then depending on how bad it was, it could be a couple of days. So this one definitely spoke pretty heavily to me. They do some awesome work, awesome services, whether it's training for first aid. They also do support groups and things like that. So I would definitely say if you yourself are impacted by epilepsy, or someone who has epilepsy, definitely check them out for any resources if you need anything. I also have Operation Outreach, which offers support to veterans affected by traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic epilepsy. So,
a lot of good information there on like what to do, how to make sure how to keep them safe and things like that. So, important stuff.
Yeah. And then I would say without this one, we probably wouldn't be here doing this today. The Louisville Free Public Library Foundation. I mean, that one kind of definitely, I think access to the library when we could have been doing any number of things as angsty teenagers. There was many a times we just went to the library, found random books on random topics. So that pretty much, I mean, it sums up our entire show. So that one spoke pretty big to me, of course. And I definitely, when I saw that, I couldn't pass it up, because the library does a lot more than just books too, of course. I mean, they host education seminars and, classes for adults and kids, and just so many different things. The maker space, is that at Louisville?
Right,
like
yes.
they're involved in the maker spaces and stuff. So
The Code Louisville, that started out, I think, it's all virtual now, but I mean, that started out in-house at the libraries.
yep.
It says it right there, really, building community. I mean, that's what happens at, every library, but, Louisville's libraries really brought on a lot of different programs and stuff to really, definitely support them. Too many libraries are closing, right? Like, we've just had a few. I think the one in Fern Creek closed not too long ago. So do whatever you can.
Yeah, definitely. They put in a lot of work. Librarians definitely put in a lot of work to make everything happen that they make happen. So I appreciate it. I mean, it gave us the ability to learn how to research and, just follow things that we were interested in and find whatever information we could about it. So, all right. And then I guess the next one I want to bring up is a Family Scholar House. So they do some awesome work helping make sure that people, whether young people or single parents, still have access to education. And they do some awesome various services, from coaching, whether it's academic, career, success, health and wellness coaching, education. They help with financial education and financial assistance, technology assistance, apprenticeship programs, and then just general support, advocacy support, affordable housing, just all of those things that you got to get done, but trying to do that on top of further your education is not always the easiest task. So I thought it was pretty cool. And once again, the annual report's right there under their About section. So transparency and everything is very important. So, especially with charities, right?
Definitely.
So that's all of them that I had. What'd you have, Jack?
Okay. So one, I knew he was, picking out like maybe like a nonprofit or like a charity or something. This page actually just popped up on my Facebook the other day. Pineal Gardens. So what they do is they have these little Pineal stations, Pineal trade stations that they set up, like they build them to where you can leave your gardens, like little, either seedlings or vegetables.
Okay.
I think it's like really important, especially with Louisville kind of, and a lot of places. You was touching on it earlier with how there's those community gardens that Louisville is promoting. There's a lot of food deserts, I feel like, here in the metro, right? With there not really being a lot of easily available like fruits and vegetables. So the fact that they're setting these stations out randomly throughout the city, I guess what they do is they partner with either homeowners or something along those lines, and then they just set them out there, and you can either leave your own plants or pick up other plants that are available there. So if it seems like a great way to really feed the community and keep things healthy. So definitely want to support them. Like right now, it looks like they have a couple dozen of these stations throughout the city, and they're looking to grow. So definitely wanting to see a lot more from them here soon. You can check it all out on their website too, over there at pinealgarden.com.
Yeah, that's really cool. uh, it's like you said, it kind of relates back to the community garden, except it's even more widespread because they're giving the cutlings and they can build these little, trade stations everywhere.
Yeah, they're doing awesome stuff over there, though. Definitely want to support them if you can.
Cool, man. And then one more.
Okay, so another group I wanted to promote, as far as like, because what we're talking about is, getting back to the community and stuff. There's a Facebook group called Am Dixie Highway. If you're in Louisville, you're probably familiar with them. There's 84,000 members, right? So that's a good portion of the Louisville community. And they give back a lot. It's whenever I think of Am Dixie, it's a lot of the community supporting the community. I know a lot of people that have been in need, around this time, and the founders of it, the people that the admins, they will get the community together and make sure like the elderly have all the food, that they need for, when the holidays come up, make sure that everybody has their Thanksgiving dinners and things like that. So even though it's not it's a specific part of Louisville, they do a lot there. So Am Dixie, they do great things. Definitely, if you're in that area, go and join their group on Facebook and either help out if you can, or if you need help, I'm sure you can find it through them, or they can put you in the right direction.
Awesome, man! I love the Peanuts gang.
Oh,
Picture
there. Always great for the holidays.
It says the good deed capital of the world. Pretty cool. Definitely awesome. So there's a lot of awesome people doing awesome work in our city. So we just thought we would take the time to recognize them. We've done shows on a lot of things. We haven't really touched on charities, and it's just that time of the year. So I wanted to give some other people some recognition. And again, whether you're in need, there's a ton of resources out there, and whether you just want to give back, whether it's to any we've listed, or if you're not sure of who you might want to help support, definitely use this giveforgoodlouisville.org. There's like 24 pages worth of nonprofits and organizations. And again, you can filter by cause and everything, so you can make sure to really find one that speaks to you or that's in your immediate area that you want to take the time to donate or volunteer or whatever your goal is. So, again, it's that time of the year, so happy Thanksgiving. Have a good time with, family, friends, and make sure to remember those people who aren't fortunate enough to have that.
Definitely a time to remember what you're thankful for. So
I guess that's all that I had, man. You got anything else before we close it out?
Nope, that's it. Great causes, definitely to support.
So I guess with that one, we will see you next time.
See y'all next time.